A very happy Navratri to all. My name is Pujita Krishna. We have with us today Mr. Bob Blackman, who is a member of Parliament in UK and belongs to the Conservative Party. He's going to talk us through what has been happening with the situation in Leicester and Birmingham in the UK, the disturbing incidents that took place a while ago. So we at Chitti Media, we've tried our best to ensure that the truth about Leicester got out fast. Uh, we made sure that the true version of the way in which the incidents played out was put out in the public domain. That it was not a skirmish over a cricket match, as it was made out to be.
That's right.
Would you be able to give us the version or the point of view of the government or the powers that be in the UK? Like, how do they view this? What is their how are they looking at this?
Obviously, following the incidents that took place in Leicester, there were concerns that the Home Secretary, new Home Secretary, took on board and visited Leicester to reassure the communities. I think it's fair to say that in Leicester, the local Hindu community and Muslim community have existed side by side together for many, many years, a very long time indeed. This was generally caused by external people coming into Leicester caused trouble. It didn't help that false messages were spread on social media that Islamic centres and mosques were being attacked by groups of Hindu youths. The police actually had to put out social media messages saying this was not the case. That then led, of course, to attacks on temples taking place and more demonstrations and thuggery. And I've seen the videos, as many of your viewers will have seen, of attacks taking place on peaceful Hindu temples. This is completely and utterly unacceptable. As I say, almost all the people involved were from outside the area. None of the arrests, as far as I'm been made aware, were of any Hindus. They were of other religions, predominantly from the Muslim section of the population. And what I was very keen to make sure is that the incidents that took place in Leicester and indeed in Smethwick, where a Hindu temple was also the subject of a violent protest outside the temple, was not repeated anywhere else. And I'm pleased to say that in my constituency and across northwest London and across everywhere else that I'm aware of in the United Kingdom, Navratri has continued obviously from Monday in a peaceful manner. The police have been very clear that they will not tolerate any demonstrations or violence against temples or against places where Navratri is being celebrated. Certainly in the United Kingdom, Navratri is celebrated in school halls and community centres. It doesn't tend to be in temples. So obviously that's a bit of a different set of circumstances. The police are well aware of the challenges and of course are now up to speed to make sure that we get no further incidents for Diwali or indeed for Hindu New Year, when in the UK alone, more than 1 million people will visit temples on New Year's Day to pay their respects and of course bring in the new year in time-honoured fashion. So the police are now obviously we're not going to have sighting of police outside each community centre or community hall. The police are on hand to give support and assistance. And what is important here is that we calm the mood down and prevent this escalating still further. There was a planned demonstration outside the Ealing Road Temple in Wembley in Alberton last Sunday. This was advertised quite widely on social media. I'm pleased to say that didn't appear to happen. The organisers of that were persuaded not to carry that on. And most importantly, people from the temple were encouraged to ensure that there were no counter demonstrations or further escalation of the problems. But it is a problem that we're starting to see this escalation of tension between the Hindu and Muslim communities. People, as I say, who've lived alongside each other for 40, 50 years, there is an undercurrent. And what we've got to do, together with the police, is make sure we remove that from society. The fact is that people celebrating their religion, whatever the religion, is encouraged in the United Kingdom, and so we should continue to do so. I see nothing wrong with people being able to say that they're proud to be of a particular religion, that they're proud of the religion they serve and the gods that they serve. What's acceptable is when people start to threaten physical violence against those that are celebrating their religion. I would also emphasize, of course, that in this season we've just had Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, and we have Yom Kippur coming up, which is one of the most holy times for Jews. So there's the threats across the various different religions which are completely intolerable.
That's right. That's thank you so much for that, sir, because the fact that I think the beauty of countries like UK and India is that we have our shared values of multiculturalism. We've always celebrated diversity. We've always been tolerant about, of other cultures, of other religions, and that is something that must be protected. I think that that the government views it that
That's
way.
absolutely right. What we try to do, and I raised this in the House on Thursday last week when
Yes.
we were considering what to do to make, and I wrote to the Home Secretary saying you've got to take action to make sure this doesn't happen and isn't escalated. Some people have misinterpreted that, but unfortunately, that they're foolish people. We need to take the heat out of this and get back to a position whereby people can celebrate in peace and harmony. There was a lot of concern, I know, in my local area about what could happen, but I'm glad to say that the community leaders and the police have taken prompt action. And so my message, my central message to all Hindus who are celebrating Navratri is enjoy the festival, enjoy Dandiya Ras and the Garba, but most importantly, the religious side of the festival, and a very happy, peaceful, prosperous, and above all else, healthy New Year. So Shubh Navratri, Shubh Diwali, and enjoy the New Year, and that brings to everyone what they would wish.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much, sir. But if I may, there were a lot of reports about Hindus in these regions, Birmingham, Leicester, fleeing or leaving their homes in fear. Some of them are afraid to put out symbols that represent the fact that they're Hindus. How much of this is true? Is it should
I think
Hindus
there is certainly evidence that people are fearful because of the thuggery that's taken place. My message to people is that you shouldn't be deterred from putting out your religious symbols, the lighting the deepa, and ensuring that you're doing what you would normally do at this time of year,
Right.
wearing your wonderful saris, which our ladies do.
Yes.
We see more and more gentlemen now dressing up in traditional costumes as well. But nevertheless, people should not be deterred from carrying out what is their rightful, lawful capability to celebrate their religion, as they always have done in the United Kingdom.
That's right.
And what I would simply say to the people that cause trouble is you'll be caught and you'll be punished severely, because we're not going to tolerate it.
Sir, I'm going to talk about something that's a little, it's a difficult subject, but it must be spoken about. How is it that members of a certain community, like you mentioned, the miscreants, who have obviously risen in number and strength, how is it that when there is overwhelming evidence that they have twisted facts around, that they have misrepresented facts, how is it that they still are able to manage swing public opinion in their favor? Because it is a sizable number of people in the UK and around the world, especially the Western world, who tend to view them with sympathy. How is it that they're able to do this?
Unfortunately, there's the spread of fake news, where people misrepresent, as you say, on both social media. There's also there's a certain radicalism that's been present for a very long time. we've got to clamp down very hard on that, because the reality is that all religions are essentially peaceful religions, and
That's right.
should be celebrated as such. Those people that radicalise and want to cause violence against other people through their religion need to be called out and prevented from stirring up further trouble. You're right that one of the problems is that almost by creating this sort of environment and creating this thing that somehow they're right and everyone else is wrong, creates a feeling of violence against people who are of the Hindu religion. And the Hindu religion has been around for 6,000 years. People have a right to celebrate it in peace and harmony. Those that are Hindu should be proud of being Hindu. Why not? I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that I represent an area where nearly 40% of people are of Hindu religion. Now, they should be allowed, and I encourage them, and I'll be out later enjoying Navaratri with them. That's what we should be aiming to do, not pigeonholing them, attacking them for the religious practices that they follow. They don't threaten anyone, don't impinge upon anyone's loss, and so from that perspective, zero tolerance of people who want to cause those celebrating their religion harm. And unfortunately, some of the mainstream media have gone along with this, and in somehow, shape or form, tried to present Hindus as being the guilty parties here. It could not be further from the truth. And I think this is the thing that annoys me more than anything else, that people have listened to the propaganda and the blatant lies and accepted them to be correct and truthful. It's complete rubbish, and I think we should be calling it out, making sure that people do not get away with it. And to those people, I just say you're wrong. You should not be doing this. Let us ensure that people who are celebrating their religion, maybe they're saying they're proud to be Hindu. Well, no, they should be able to celebrate their religion in time and a fashion, and not be inhibited from doing so.
True. Very true. So it's so heartening for me, or I'm sure the other people who are listening in, to hear you say that, because, like you rightly pointed out, it is a matter of concern to many of us when big media houses in the UK and also in America, they just seem to go by misrepresentation of facts, and in fact are also complicit in spreading this misinformation. Which brings me to a question which is kind of connected. So if I may point out the fact that this is the ironical situation that struck me. Members of this community who are in India often cry victimhood. They often cry, they often cite victimhood, citing the fact that they are minorities. On the other hand, when you see them in places like Birmingham and Leicester, where they're obviously numerically bigger, larger, stronger, the voice changes, the manner in which they come out, the aggression, it's so open, and the hostility is so open. So would you like to comment on the duplicity here, the obvious sanctimoniousness, and the people seem to be buying it?
Well, the fact is, in India, there are more Muslims in India and Pakistan and Bangladesh combined. So India is a secular country in which you're free to celebrate your religion as you choose. Now, the majority of people may be Hindu, but there are Hindu, Sikhs, Jains, Muslims, Christians, Jews, and Buddhists, and other religions that are celebrating. India protects that in the constitution, absolutely rightly. In the United Kingdom, yes, the Islamic population, we should remember, it's not just one amorphous mass, as it were. There are different sects within Islam, and there tends to be tension between those sects and also with other religions. But the problem often here is that the message is preached that there's only one religion, and what we should be doing is accepting the fact that we are variety of different religions. People celebrate different religions, and people may feel there's one religion is better than another. But the fact is that we should be encouraging people to celebrate their religions alongside each other. And in many parts of the United Kingdom, that is very effectively done through interfaith councils, with people from all religions coming together to safeguard each other in their own right. In certain parts of the country, it's true that there is one dominant religion, and they seek to dominate to the elimination of other religions. Well, that is equally unacceptable, and I think that's what we need to ensure that we get across to the community leaders and get community leaders to speak out, lead their communities in peace and harmony, so that we have proper tolerance of everyone's rights and responsibilities under the law and their ability to celebrate their religion.
That's right. So, which brings me to this question about what is the future of Hindus in the UK? Because the past has been, like you rightly pointed out, there's been harmony over the years as the immigrant communities have lived side by side. Of late, however, there's been trouble. Do you see that this is going to, what is your perception of how this is going to go in the, do you see more such instances of bullying where the numerical strength of a certain community rises?
Yeah, look, there can always be tensions between communities, and what we've got to make sure of is that people do not exploit those tensions and cause more trouble. What we should be doing is, as I say, taking that out and encouraging the leaders of communities to communicate with each other and to bring people together rather than separating them. The future of the Hindu community in the United Kingdom is very strong. We have a very large community in the United Kingdom. They are all very peaceful. They get on with their lives. They don't tend to rely on the state. They are working either in public services or private business. Sure. They look after their family, and they stand on their own 2 feet. They are an important, integral part of the United Kingdom, as they have done for 50, 60 years now. And they are part of both our economy, our workforce, and the people of the United Kingdom. So we must encourage them to understand that they are. I mean, we're now on the 4th or 5th generation of Hindus that have been born in the United Kingdom, educated in the United Kingdom, working in the United Kingdom, and I look forward to the fact that they will continue to do so without fear or favour.
Right. In fact, many Hindus, many Indians were rooting for Rishi Sunak during the recently concluded elections. We were all rooting for him, but well, he fought hard. He fought a righteous battle. But let's hope for an Indian origin. He's a Britisher for sure. But I hope there is a prime minister.
Remarkable thing that's happened in the United Kingdom. If we thought 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, that someone of Indian origin could stand for the leadership and being the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, most people would have laughed.
True.
And the Conservative Party, certainly the party I represent, has come remarkably. We're now in a position whereby, obviously, Rishi was Chancellor under Boris Johnson, Priti Patel was Home Secretary under Boris Johnson, and now 3 of the 4 top jobs are for people from different origins, to the so-called native Britishers, as it were. The Conservative Party has come a remarkably long way, and it's all about the ability to do the job, not right. The colour of their skin or their origin, to do this in the country. And his constituency that he represents in North Yorkshire is a very white population. Very few people of Indian origin live in that constituency, and people now are coming to Parliament as in their numbers to represent the whole community, not one single section of the community, but the entirety of the constituency. And this is a case of people being the right people, the best people for the job, not necessarily because of their race, religion, or other issues with them as individuals, which I'm very proud of. And the Conservative Party has been in the lead in this. I personally have been promoting this for more than 30 years and have encouraged people from the Indian community, obviously, to come forward in politics. And I look forward to encouraging yet more people to do so. And it's only a question of time that we will get someone of Indian, I think, to be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, which will be a great thing for the country. And Rishi fought hard, fought well, and then, in a contest, where there's two people standing, only one can win. And Liz Truss is now Prime Minister, is doing a sterling job. And I think, obviously, the people of India is the National Trade Secretary, and as Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss was proven to the end of India. We're in the last stages, I hope, of formulating the free trade deal that we're trying to negotiate with India, and I'm looking forward to that coming to fruition, and then we can set out once again our joint arrangements between the United Kingdom and India in the way that we have done for hundreds of years. But this time, it's on two great countries on equal partnership, which will be beneficial to the United Kingdom and to India.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. Beautiful words, and I really, I'm looking forward to those, to your words coming true. Yes, a British Prime Minister of Indian origin would be just awesome. One last question that I've reserved for last. So you took your oath to His Majesty the King recently on both the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. Would you like to comment on that? So I'm sure you caught the attention.
I'm very happy to comment. I've always been, very strong on promoting the Hindu values in Parliament and before I got to Parliament. So I think it's right that we are pledging our support. Abrahamic religions recognise the Old Testament in the Bible as being part and parcel of their religious aspects. Obviously, Christians will look at the New Testament, but all the other religions will look at the Old Testament as part of their religious faith. And the Gita obviously represents the Hindu faith. So I think it's right that as I represent all people, that I should swear my oath to King Charles III on both religious texts. So we recognise that for all the people that I'm seeking, I represent in my constituency. By the way, I did this after the 2019 general election as well. I hope others will consider, particularly where they have large-scale Hindu populations, doing the same thing in the future, because I think it sends the strongest signal possible that we are standing for you, as well as I happen to have a particular scholar, but I hope I'm appreciated by people of all faiths and none. But at the end of the day, it's sending the right sort of signals, I think, to people that matters. And I'm very proud of the fact that I have a very large number of Hindus in my constituency. I regularly visit the temples, and as I say, on New Year's Day, I will be visiting at least 12 temples in one day. It's quite a long day for me, New Year's Day, but we'll be going out and about to celebrate in time-honoured fashion. I've done that for a very long time indeed, to join in with the festivities. So yes, I mean, that's why I've done it. I will continue to do it as long as I'm elected, and I'm able to serve my constituents.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. It's so such a joy to hear your views on how it's important to keep this harmony between different faiths, and that you celebrate different religions, different faiths, and it's not just empty words, but you actually, you invest your actions with meaning. So that's wonderful. I'm grateful that you could take some time out. I'm sure you have a busy day, and it's still early in Britain. I
Indeed.
think we're about to wind down right now, but
Yes,
uh,
I understand. Yeah,
yes. So thank you so much, sir.
my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much for your valuable time. I'm sure our listeners enjoyed listening to you, and I'm sure they feel comforted and reassured that Hindus in Britain, they've got somebody who's got their bags. So
Absolutely. Yeah, very true.
thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Um, to all those who are watching, please remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, and please keep coming back. Thank you so much, and Shubhratri and Happy Navratri. Thank you so much.
Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.